Hi. One of the questions I have received is what is happening in quantum computing in India? So I'll take a couple of minutes to go through each of the organizations and people involved in quantum computing in India and explain what they have been up to. The first on the list is Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. They were very active 3, 4 years ago and they announced that they have created a 6 qubit apparatus. Their partners TCS also announced that they have tested the apparatus and it is ready for release. After that, they completely vanished from the scene. No releases were made, no devices were made available for trials or proof of concepts. So, two things could have happened. First, that their apparatus didn't work at all, and the second, that the entire effort was classified. Then there is Indian Institute of Sciences. They have been working on a photonic quantum computing apparatus. Remember, when I say apparatus, I mean it's a physics kind of an apparatus. It's an experimental setup in a lab. It is not a full-fledged programmable quantum computer. So ISC created a 6 qubit apparatus recently on which they did not do gate based quantum computing, but they did quantum walks with 6 qubits. And quantum walks is also a universal way of quantum computing, but uh, the most common form is gate based quantum computing. And hence, I say that ISC does not have a quantum computer yet, and probably not anytime soon because it's a long distance from an apparatus to a programmable, usable quantum computer. Raman Research Institute also has a lab. It is basically a photonics institute, and they have a photonics lab, which obviously started with quantum random number generators in photonics. They were doing, I think, 4 kilobits or something. And the world already has quantum random number generators with gigabits of capacity for the last decade or 2 decades. Raman Research Institute is also involved in quantum key distribution because it's a natural step from photonics optical apparatuses to quantum key distribution. CDAC also has a supercomputing team and superconducting team and a photonics team, but they have not made any announcements or any progress announcements as such or any roadmaps. I believe they are working on creating a quantum computer. You never know. But they recently bought a 108 qubit physical qubit quantum computer from Rigetti. And they have tie ups with Control OX and QuantWorks and various other organizations. I believe they also have a NVIDIA simulator. They have also made their own density matrix quantum simulators that go up to 12 qubits, I think. And yeah, but nowhere close to creating a quantum computer. IIT Bombay has been funded 720 crores to create a quantum hardware fabrication facility, but that is just a fabrication facility. They are not into full stack quantum computer development. Now, out of the startups that are active in quantum computing, there is, besides Automatsky, there is Cupa AI, which had announced a 25 physical qubit machine and then a 64 physical qubit machine announcement was made by showing a brochure in one of the conferences in Delhi. They claim to be installing 8 qubit quantum computers in various labs and universities. Uh, Not much is known. They have released a roadmap, but I'm yet to come across anybody who's tried their system and can vouch that their system actually works to a limited extent. Confluence is a IIT Madras startup which is developing photonic annealers, and they claim to have a 100,000 qubit photonic annealer already. And they have a roadmap to create a photonic quantum computer by the end of 2029. Boson Q psi is basically involved in computational fluid dynamics simulations and quantum solutions around annealing, etc. QNU Labs is a company that is focused on quantum key distribution and quantum random number generators, and it also has a post quantum cryptography implementation that they've been doing. They received, I think, two or three proof of concept grants from the Indian government, but they are not into quantum computing. And though they wish, they could enter quantum computing, but they are not a quantum computing firm. Quant 2D Technologies works on photon detectors and quantum communication apparatuses. This is basically QKD and quantum communications. Q Prayog is developing atomic clocks and quantum sensors. They are also not into quantum computing and nowhere close to entering quantum computing. Pristine Diamonds is basically they provide diamond materials for quantum sensors. Remember diamond vacancy quantum computing and related sensors. QNASTRA is working on cryogenics and superconducting detectors. Now, obviously, I believe this is referring to photonic detectors, but they are not a full stack quantum computing company. They are into quantum sensing and metrology. Demira Technologies is a IIT Bombay spin out working on cryogenic cables because we have to connect the quantum processor to the controller at cryogenic temperatures. I don't know where they will go with this because this is a very small market and they are not into quantum computing. Pranishk is an IIT Delhi related firm that is working on laser diodes and related systems for quantum applications. But again, no idea what they've been up to. There is nothing much happening. QRD Lab is working on some research projects, education and consulting projects. Quantum Cosmos Lab is working again on quantum algorithms, use cases, optimization, education, etc. There are a couple of companies that are active, which are the usual culprits like HCL, Infosys, Tata Consultancy Services, Tech Mahindra, etc. They are large services companies which are trying to get a foothold into quantum computing. And the way they are doing is they have tied up with global players like Rigetti, INQ, PsiQuantum, D-Wave, IBM, etc. And they are trying to establish a quantum consulting practice of sorts. Now, the biggest announcement coming from Amravati in Andhra Pradesh is that IBM is setting up a 50-acre facility there along with TCS and uh, HCL Infotech. Sorry, TCS and L&T Infotech. Or, but according to a press release from IBM in November last year, their system is only capable of doing 5,002 qubit gates, and by 28 they'll be able to do 15,002 qubit gates, which means that Contrary to the popular claims that Amravati is going to solve production scale problems in agriculture, finance, drug discovery, etc., that is probably not possible, and all these claims will fizzle out over time. It is a nice to have facility, but it will primarily just involve, it will uh, do education and learning stuff probably. The system is not useful at all. And now there are other government labs like DRDO and other institutions that have been working on quantum technologies. DRDO had issued a tender 3 4 years ago for a quantum simulator, and I believe they purchased one from Nvidia. So if you look at the entire scenario of quantum technologies in India, India is not on the quantum computing map of the world, and Automatsky is the only company which is based in India which has a production scale quantum annealer and a quantum computer. It is a full stack quantum vendor and is a world leader in quantum cryptography applications, quantum chemistry, quantum fluid dynamics, etc. And if you remove Automatsky from India, then India pretty much has nothing. I don't see anything happening of any consequence in the next 5 or 10 years, though the National Quantum Mission has 5 year, 10 year roadmaps going up to 2047, Viksit Bharat, etc. But that is just lip service. Uh, that's pretty much it. And hope that gives you an idea of where the country is headed.